So, check this out. About 88% of companies in the S&P 500 have heavyweights like State Street, BlackRock or Vanguard as their biggest shareholders. This really shows just how much clout these firms have in the market. Now, when we look at the US defense spending, which is around a whopping $744 billion, it's pretty clear that these investment firms aren't just sitting on their cash. They play a big role in influencing military contracts, and that's something we need to consider. BlackRock, with around $10 trillion under its belt, has financial muscle that goes beyond that of many countries. This really raises some red flags about potential monopolies across various industries. And speaking of influence, BlackRock has reached into various sectors by bringing a ton of signatories on board to promote ESG principles. But it's worth asking, what's really driving this collaboration? Then there's this interesting tie between education unions and powerful financial backers like Soros. It really shows how money and influence are shaping educational policies and practices all over the United States. When we talk about pushing back against giants like BlackRock and Vanguard, it's a tough road for individuals and smaller organizations. They face some serious challenges in trying to combat this kind of influence. On that note, let's consider the monopoly laws in America. They're starting to feel really outdated, right? It's about time they got a refresh to better suit our modern market dynamics. And if you look at the tech industry, it's another story altogether. Companies like Apple are dominating with significant market shares, and that dominance brings up some serious concerns about competition and consumer choice. Switching gears to the defense sector, we've seen a shocking decline in competition, dropping from 51 companies down to just 5. This kind of consolidation can definitely lead to inefficiencies and inflated costs in government contracts. That's why we really need more competition among defense contractors. It's crucial for preventing overcharging and those monopolistic practices, which in turn leads to better accountability and transparency. But here's a thought: what if real power in government doesn't lie with our elected officials, but with influential finance figures like Larry Fink? That raises some pretty big questions about who's really in control of policy decisions. This conversation also takes us to the crossroads of finance and politics, showing just how much sway financial leaders can have over military and defense strategies. It's a complicated web they weave. Now, reflecting on a personal level, the experience of losing $100 million at a young age really underscores how unpredictable financial ventures can be. It highlights just how resilient someone needs to be to bounce back from such setbacks. And then there's the conflict in business partnerships. It's interesting how differing visions and strategies can cause splits, even among successful figures in the finance world. And let's not forget about ESG ratings. They raise some big questions about credibility and the motives behind financial assessments, exposing potential biases in how companies are evaluated. Now, wealth can give you access to some pretty influential circles, like rubbing elbows with political leaders and high-profile individuals. This kind of access might fuel a desire for greater control over societal outcomes. When you look at the shift from just seeking wealth to aiming for control, it highlights a deeper psychological need for significance and legacy. Ultimately, it's all about wanting a personal impact on the world. And then we have individuals like George Soros, who sometimes see themselves as godlike figures. These perceptions can definitely play a role in shaping their motives and ambitions.